Electric vehicle interest is surging as fuel prices climb and global tensions bite at the bowser. New data shows more Australians are not just considering EVs, they're actively making the switch.
Our EV shift is picking up charge. New data from NRMA Insurance shows quotes for electric vehicles jumped 42% last month, up 81% year on year. Online marketplace Cars24's sales accelerating too, with EVs and hybrid purchases making up 20% for two good reasons.
There is now over 30 car brands in Australia offering some form of electric vehicle. And the second is obviously the crisis and the situation in the Middle East and the fuel price rise in such a short period of time.
And those in the know expect the electrical surge to continue.
And once you see a jump this big, it's probably not going to go back to the previous levels. I think this is something that's pushed a lot of Australians over the tipping point to say, yeah, this is something I'm really going to consider.
There's no question about that. We're not going back to just using petroleum. It's not the way it's going to be.
G'day, legends. If you spent more than 5 minutes online lately, you've probably seen someone arguing about electric vehicles. One person reckons EVs are the future, another saying that they're a disaster waiting to happen. So what's actually going on? The truth is the EV revolution is very real. Around the world, EV sales continue to grow. The International Energy Agency says global EV sales passed 17 million vehicles in 2024 and are expected to top 20 million in 2025, making up more than a quarter of all new cars sold worldwide. China is the leading charge while Europe, North America and many Asian countries continue expanding EV adoption. Here in Australia, EV sales have grown from a tiny niche market a few years ago to around about 12 to 15% of new vehicle sales, depending on the month measurement used. More affordable models from BYD, MG, GWM and Tesla have helped drive that growth. But despite the growth, the pushback is real. And honestly, some of the concerns are legitimate. Why are people pushing back? Number one, upfront cost. Even though prices are falling, many Australians still look at an EV and see a huge purchase price compared to a similar petrol car. Most families don't buy a vehicle based on fuel savings over 10 years. They buy based on what they can afford today. For many households dealing with mortgage stress, rent increases and the cost of living crunch, that upfront price matters. 2. Range anxiety. Australians love road trips, whether it's to Melbourne to Adelaide, Sydney to Brisbane, or towing the caravan up north. Distance matters. Many people worry about running out of charge, finding a charger in regional areas, waiting for charging during long trips. The charging network is improving rapidly, but Australia still has a long way to go compared with countries that have had decades to build infrastructure. Let's be honest, Australia is a Ute nation. Many people aren't driving a little hatchback around the city. They're towing boats, horse floats, trailers and caravans. While most electric utes are finally arriving, many Australians feel that technology hasn't fully caught up with their lifestyle needs yet. 4. Government incentives and fairness. This is where things get political. Supporters urge incentives help new technology become affordable. Critics argue taxpayers shouldn't subsidise someone else's new car. Australians' fringe benefits tax exemption has boosted EV uptake significantly, but critics point out the biggest benefits often go to high-income earners using salary packaging arrangements. The federal government has already begun reviewing aspects of the scheme because of rising costs to the budget. 5. Trust and misinformation. some people generally don't know what information to believe. One headline says EV batteries last forever. Another says that they'll end up in landfill. One article says EV saves money. Another says they're terrible for the environment. The reality sits somewhere in the middle. Modern EV batteries are lasting longer than many expected, but battery production does require some significant mining and manufacturing resources. Like most technologies, there are advantages and trade-offs. A lot of the debate isn't really about cars, it's about jobs and industry. China now dominates much of the global EV manufacturing market. Some Australians worry we're swapping dependence on imported oil for dependence on imported vehicles and batteries. Others see enormous opportunities because Australia has some of the world's largest reserves of critical minerals like lithium and nickel, which are essential for battery production. The big question is whether Australia can move beyond digging minerals out of the ground and become involved in more of the manufacturing and technology side of the industry. So, who's right? Here's the honest answer. Nobody has the whole story. EV supporters are right when they say running costs are generally lower, air pollution can be reduced, technology is improving rapidly, global momentum is clearly moving toward electrification. Meanwhile, skeptics are right when they say charging infrastructure still needs work, upfront costs remain a barrier, regional Australia faces difficult challenges from major cities. Governments need to think carefully about fairness in taxation. The smartest position is probably somewhere in the middle. EVs aren't a miracle solution, but they're also not a fad that's disappearing next year. The market has already moved beyond the debate. The real question now is whether EVs are coming. The EV evolution is no longer a prediction. It's happening right now. The technology is improving, prices are slowly coming down, more models are arriving each year, but the concerns Australians have aren't imaginary either. People want affordable cars, reliable charging, fair government policies, and practical solutions that work whether you live in the middle of Melbourne or 3 hours from the nearest major town. That's why the pushback is real. It's simply not people resisting change. For many Australians, it's about making sure the transition actually works for everyone. What do you reckon? Have you gone electric? Thinking about it? Or are you sticking with a good old-fashioned petrol for now? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this No BS breakdown, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and share with a mate who's always arguing about EVs at the barbecue. Until next time, stay safe, stay curious, and remember, whether it's powered by electrons, dinosaur juice, we're all trying to get to the same destination. Cheers, legends!